All right, it's the MLB rundown here, joined by Ramon. Of course, we're 3-3 here in action here with Guardians and the Tigers, so we'll get on here with the rundown as we'll look at this one between the Phillies and White Sox. The Phillies here, minus 127, this one at 1 p.m. each time, Wheeler against Lance Lynn.
Yeah, Tony, we saw the two games that were postponed yesterday, so we got a couple of doubleheaders. I guess it's unfair. I can't pick this first game, Cleveland and Detroit, but hey, it's close going in anyway, so I guess I don't want to do that. Let's take a look at this one with the Phils and the White Sox game one. We will have a Wheeler going up against Lance Lynn. Wheeler's been pretty good so far, as expected. Well, as expected, yeah, 2.38 earned run average so far, but the Phillies just have one win in those three starts thus far. Lance Lynn, maybe it was with the World Baseball Classic, for whatever it is, right now 0-1, 7.31 ERA. They've lost all three of his starts so far and have gone over in two of those three games. So, Tony, I think I'm going to look to go over in this one with these two teams. So far, Lynn has not been able to get on track at all. Both these teams trending over, I think, for the season for the most part. And I will say that in Falter starts, they have gone, or I'm sorry, in Wheeler's starts, they have gone 2-1 to the under in his games thus far. But two teams struggling a little bit in the bullpens, Tony. Worst two bullpens in the league right now. Philadelphia 6.83, White Sox 7.57. That's bad. Let's go over tonight in the first game, this late afternoon, if you will. Over Phillies White Sox game one.
Late afternoon, Phillies, White Sox over the total here in this one. All right, let's continue on here with the rundown here, joined by Ramon Scott. Let's take a look at the next game up here. We got Guardians and Tigers. They will play game two of this one half an hour after the conclusion here of game number one. Looks like Battenfield and Rodriguez, the lefty, going in this one.
Yeah, and I don't know. Who knows? We don't know how long this one's going to go. It could affect things a little bit. We know that Detroit's got a pretty bad bullpen as well. Cleveland pretty okay in the pen so far with 3.23 ERA as a team. So Battenfield thus far gave up 2 runs and 4 2/3 in his first major league start. For Eduardo, so far 4.5 ERA and an 0-2 record thus far. I would think, considering we've had just 6 runs scored in this first one, I can't reserve judgment. I can't wait, I guess, Tony. I'm going to look for another over in this game with that total and these two pitchers going so far. For whatever reason, Rodriguez, the Tigers have lost all of his starts so far. He's had pretty good success against Cleveland in the past with a couple of wins, but it's still a 4 ERA. I'm going to go over in game two with Cleveland and Detroit.
All right, everyone says over 8.5 here. Guardians, Tigers, game two of their doubleheader. All right, let's continue on here with the rundown, joined by Ramon Scott. Next one up, we have the Giants and the Marlins going head-to-head tonight. We got Alex Wood, the lefty on the mound. Looks like Cabrera on the right-hander here for Miami.
Well, Wood, look, the Giants have won his starts so far, but, he's at 3.52 ERA. Cabrera, yeah, his last start was pretty good, but still a 4.63 ERA. And here's a couple of bullpen. That's been the Giants' problem, I think, so far, is their bullpen has nearly a 6 ERA thus far this season. Steam came in on the under, so Sharp's maybe giving me a little bit of value. Going to take another over here, Tony. I've been talking about it on the morning show quite a bit. Right now it stands at 55.9% for overs thus far this season in the major leagues. So maybe that's coming down a little bit to, where it's supposed to be, which would be 50-50, right? But right now it's still leaning over. And, 3 picks, 3 overs for me. I'm going to go over. Woods, has some good peripherals, certainly so far. Not a win to show it, but the Giants have been winning his games. I'll take the over in Giants and Marlins.
All right, Ramon here, over Giants and Marlins, over 8.5 here. Guys, this is the rundown here on Game Day Picks. Remember, no morning steam, so we do the rundown with Ramon here. He'll run down a pick from every game on the board. We'll have MLB, NBA, and NHL cover for you on today's show. Let's continue on here on the rundown with Ramon. We go to next game up today. Rays and the Reds. That looks like Taj Bradley will get the start here against the lefty here, the talented lefty here for Cincinnati, in Nick Lodolo.
Oh, is it all over for the Rays, Tony? Are they going to come back to earth? They're going to end up 500 after all this. They're still 14-3. Come on, Bradley, his first major league start, 5 innings, 78 pitches. The Rays did win that game, but Tampa Bay has lost 3 of 4, and they're going up against Lodolo. Everybody's one of their favorites, I would say, so far with his 2.12 ERA, 2-0. Reds are 2-1 in his starts. Cincinnati 6-4 at home so far. I think maybe another spot, maybe one more loss for the Rays. Tony, we mentioned that the Rays. Bradley will be, he's a starter, so he's not an opener or anything. But maybe the Rays' lack of quality depth in starting pitching is kind of catching up to him. We know the Reds really aren't any great shakes, right, so far. But Lodolo, the 2.12 ERA, pretty good numbers. I'm going to take the Reds here in this one against the Rays.
All right, Ramon here with the Reds against the Rays here. Get the plus money with Cincinnati. All right, let's continue on here on the rundown here. Join Ramon Scott on Game Day Picks. Next up, Orioles and Nationals tonight. Kremer against Josiah Gray. We've got Orioles favored in this one, total of 9.
Yeah, well, Kremer so far an ERA of 9.5. The Orioles have lost 2 of his 3 starts so far. Bullpen's been pretty good for the Orioles, a little bit over a 3.5 ERA. They have gone over in 5 of their last 6 games with 1 push. Josiah Gray so far 0-3 record, 4.32 the ERA so far. That's the bullpen ERA for the Nationals as well so far this season. So they've done okay. They've lost now. What are they? 5-11 at this point, so maybe a spot here for the Orioles. Worried about Kremer a little bit, but I think that ERA is going to come down. I mean, he's not a awful pitcher. He obviously has a lot of experience, and Gray, he deserves a win somewhere. Nationals lost all 3 of his games, and they've all gone under, but got to ride with the Orioles once again. The Nationals continuing to struggle.
All right, Ramon here on Orioles here, minus 139 against the Nationals. Continue here on the rundown here, joined by Ramon Scott. Next up, we've got Angels and Yankees. Suarez, the lefty, against Clark Smith, the right-hander here for New York.
Yeah, 2 starters definitely not getting it done so far with these 2 teams. Suarez, an ERA of 11.42, and the Angels have lost both of his first 2 starts. Meanwhile, for Schmidt, he's on the Yankees. He's a little bit touted anyway, but 8.44 the ERA so far in his first 3 starts. Now, Yankees have been pretty good, obviously, with their 10-6 record. Angels an 8-8 start. Not frustrated just yet, but I would think with these 2 starters and their high ERAs, the bullpens have been actually pretty good. We've bagged on the Angels bullpen a lot, Tony, on our show. I think everyone, worries that once we get into 3.43 ERA, it's not terrible. They've just had some really poor outings, and then they've done the job in the other games. So I'm not sure at this point what to make of them, because the metrics are not as good as the ERA. I will say that, and I will admit to that. The Yankees, we know, number 1 in ERA thus far. But I think with the starters, give up some runs early. I've got another over here with the Angels and the Yankees.
All right, Ramon here. Over Angels and the Yankees, over 9.5. All right, let's continue here on the rundown. Scott, we'll get to NHL as well on our show today. Next up, we got Twins and Red Sox on the hill today. Sonny Gray and Chris Sale. So what's up with this line here with the way Sale's form and Gray's form? We got Red Sox now favored minus 105, total 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, Sonny Gray has been absolutely terrific. I mean, 2-0, 0.53 ERA. Twins are undefeated in his 3 starts. Chris Sale has got an ERA of 12. We know that, until we see it, right, there's no reason to think that Chris Sale has healed or turned himself around or resurrecting his career. He's got a lot of run support, that's for sure. The Red Sox have scored 22 runs for Chris Sale so far. All three of those games have gone over. Red Sox have now won 3 of their last 4. Twins bats have gone cold over the last couple of games. They're a total under team so far this season, 4-11-1 to the under. But man, with Sale just getting lit up, I think the Twins bats can get back on track today. I'd have to think that this is still a great spot for the Twins. I just cannot trust Chris Sale right now, and Sonny Gray just terrific. So I'm going to end up with the Twins here in this one. I'm going to take Sonny Gray again, 0.53. Yeah, it's tough, going into Boston. They can pound some runs certainly, but that 12 ERA just stands out to me pretty bad for Chris Sale so far. Not sure he's going to turn it around. I'm sure he'll lower this ERA eventually, but to me, probably just a mediocre pitcher at this point until further notice.
All right, Ramon here on the Twins, minus 103 in this one. Note this line. Look at these lines here. This is from the sharpest book in the world. You're not seeing these big 10, 20 cents juice here. Sharpest book in the world here, guys. Do your shopping, get the best numbers. All right, let's continue on here on our rundown. Next game, Rangers and Royals. Texas here, road favorites in this one. Eovaldi against Keller.
Well, Keller's been just fine. He's been the bright spot. Let's just say he's got half of their wins so far, and Eovaldi is 6.32 ERA in his 3 starts thus far. So maybe it's all about the Rangers' terrific bullpen. Figure Bruce Bochy. Rangers may be able a little bit more stable right now off to that great start. Definitely one of the biggest surprises going so far in the major leagues at 10-6. Kansas City, no surprise at 4-13 in this one. So I'm going to take another over here in this one. Tony, Texas has gone 7-2 to the over in their last 9. The Royals have gone 7-2 to the over in their last 9 games. Let's take another over here with Texas and Kansas City.
Okay, we're going over here. Rangers and Royals over a total of 9 runs. Next up here, we have Game 2 of the Phillies and White Sox falter against Giolito.
Hey, I got to see the first game first, don't I? Okay, let's take a look at the Game 2 with Falter and Giolito. Tony, let me get to my interleague section here. With the Game 2, just a little bit out of place. All right, messed up those rainouts, messed up my printout, my script, if you will. Yes. All right, that's why I had Falter wrong the first time. Falter 4.7 ERA thus far. The Phillies have just won one of his 3 games. The Phillies are just 3-7 on the road thus far. But Giolito, what's going on with Lucas? He's 0-1 with a 6.6 ERA. The White Sox have lost all 3 games. The White Sox are, scrumbling and fumbling and bumbling right now. So I might have to take another over in this one, but I'm going to give you a side. I guess I'll lean over with those bullpens. Do want to see what happens in that first game. I'm going to take the Phillies in Game 2. Certainly want to see what goes on in Game 1, but with Giolito right now not being able to put it together, I'll try Philadelphia in Game 2.
Well, looking at Philadelphia in Game 2 here of this one. All right, continue on here on the rundown with Ramon. D-backs and the Cardinals. D-backs come off that underdog win yesterday. Montgomery, the lefty on the hill for St. Louis against Jameson. I was going to say Jameson, but there's no I as there's an E there. So I guess you call it Jameson, the right-hander for Arizona.
Yeah, for Arizona going into St. Louis here in this one. For me, I want to see more from Jameson certainly at this point, but one thing's for sure so far with Arizona, they've definitely been a nice story. 10-7 in his first start. Jameson 4 innings pitched, 57 pitches. His numbers have been solid so far in the major leagues. He is 5-0, dating back to those four other starts, he had 1.47 ERA now in his career, short career as it is. Montgomery's been sharp, 2-1 with a 2.45 ERA. The Cardinals are 6-10 to the under thus far. Arizona's gone under in two of their last seven games. It's not all over for me, Tony. I'm going to take an under here with Arizona and St. Louis. St. Louis, pretty good bullpen as usual. 3.5 ERA right now. Arizona about a run worse than that, and maybe that's why the favoritism is here. I think Montgomery is certainly respected as the better starting pitcher, but right now, Jameson, interesting story.
All right, Ramon here. Yes, he did say that. He did say under. Their Diamondbacks and the Cardinals under total of 8 runs. All right, let's continue on here on the rundown. Blue Jays and Astros get it together again in their series here. Bassett and Urquidy, the starters.
Yeah, Tony, the Blue Jays and the Astros in this one. When is Houston going to start turning around? Will they turn it around? Is it going to take Altuve getting back into the lineup? Bassett's been pretty bad so far for Toronto. 8.2 ERA and a 1-2 record thus far. He's getting off certainly some slow starts, but Toronto is hot. They've won 9 of their last 13 games now to resurrect their slow start. Urquidy's been very, very solid. Again, 1-0, 2.35 ERA thus far. But we just haven't seen it right now from Houston. They are 9-2 to the over thus far this season, but the Blue Jays have had some pretty exceptional pitching in the bullpen. 3.26 ERA. Houston, we know that their bullpen has been among the tops in the league over the last couple of seasons. Right now, they're kind of mired near the middle at a 3.84 bullpen ERA. But I think for me in this one, Urquidy with those solid numbers, Bassett not too swift at this point. I'm going to give Houston a shot here to pick up a win tonight over Toronto.
All right, Ramon says go with Houston here at minus 108 here against Toronto in this one. Let's continue on here on the rundown. Next up, we have the Pirates and the Rockies. Vince Velasquez against Jose Urena. We see 104 on both sides.
Yeah, so a pick 'em here with these two teams. Colorado, very, very poor so far. Urena, 11.7 ERA. They've lost all 3 of his games so far. The Pirates, we know they've been a nice story, 10-7 here thus far for Velasquez. I think with Pittsburgh off to that good start, and they're winning on the road. That's, I think, what's most impressive to me here. I'm going to look to go over in this one. Tony Urena, 2 of his 3 starts have gone over. He's got that high ERA. Colorado doing a pretty nice job in the bullpen, considering 4.39. I mean, they're going to maybe have to get in there early if Urena doesn't have it again. They are 5-2 to the over in 7 home games thus far. Give me one more over here, Pittsburgh and Colorado. Are we up to 12.5 yet? No, look at that. Oh, 13.
13 is the sharpest book in the world.
Well, I guess I'm going to need an extra point. Let's go over. Let's get 14 runs today. All right. Pittsburgh and Colorado.
Well, you got the pitchers to do it for you. You just need the hitters to come through. All right, let's continue on here on the rundown here. Joined by Ramon Scott. We're with you here. We're here on Game Day Picks Monday through Friday here at 3 p.m. Eastern time. On Tuesday, we do the rundown with Ramon here on the show as there's no morning steam. So Ramon gives us his rundown in every game on the board. Let's continue on here on the show. Next up, we have Cubs and Athletics. Stroman off to a strong start here against Walchuk, going the opposite direction.
Yeah, A's are going to need. They're working on their call-ups already, Tony, and we see the A's got some pitching down there. And we're going to see some of these guys eventually. They're supposed to be pretty good. Waldichuk's supposed to be one of them, but hasn't quite worked out. 10.2 ERA with an 0-2 record thus far. It's not going good. The A's have lost 14 of 16, 2-8 at home thus far. Stroman, what can you say? 1 ERA, 3 starts. He likes those Cubs pinstripes so far. On the road, we'll see how it goes for him. Chicago's 4-2 on the road thus far. Big favorite today. I'm going to look right now. Oakland, an ERA, a bullpen ERA of 6. I'm going to take the over in this one, Tony, with Chicago. I think Chicago probably might be willing to roll with Stroman on the run line, but I'll give out an over here at 8 runs.
All right, Ramon says go over 8 runs here, Cubs and Athletics. Let's continue on the rundown. Out west again, Brewers and the Mariners here tonight in late night action. Colin Ray, formerly pitched in Japan, had one start, was pretty good here to face Logan Gilbert, a really solid starter here for the Mariners.
Gilbert so far, 2.7 ERA in his 3 starts. Colin Ray went 5 2/3 innings, giving up just 1 run in his first 2 starts, Tony. So Milwaukee has the major league's top bullpen thus far, just a 2.2 earned run average, just terrific, and that's been part of their key. Good starting pitching as well, but that bullpen has been very, very solid. And I'm going to end up taking Milwaukee, give them one more chance here. I mean, we're getting them as a big, big dog. They're playing absolutely terrific. Yeah, Seattle's come on of late, winning 4 of their last 5, but just a 5-6 record at home. Price is too high for me. I'm going to take Milwaukee as a dog today.
All right, Ramon here, Milwaukee the dog, plus 143 here against the Mariners. Next one up here, Braves and your Padres here. Again, another tough assignment here for the Padres. This Atlanta pitching has been brutal here in this series. Strider here on the hill for Atlanta. Faced Blake Snell, someone who pitchers on the struggles here. Braves favorite.
Yeah, the Padres is slow bats as well. They talking about Machado, he always gets off to a slow start. His quote today was, well, better it happen now than later, but when are you going to turn it around? Are they waiting for Fernando Tatis to rejoin the lineup? Is that any guarantee that it'll solidify this lineup? Yeah, if you put a big, great bat in the middle, he's looked good in his minor league games so far. He's looked terrific, but not back yet. He's back with the team, ready to rejoin them soon, but not yet. And Strider, 3.38 ERA. Braves have won all 3 of his starts thus far. For Blake Snell, he's always off to a slow start, and the metrics will show that he should improve, but they've lost all 3 of his starts thus far. So Padres have lost 6 of their last 8, 4-7 at home. I think I said it on day 1. Looking to fade the Padres at home, kind of take them on the road, right? They went down to Atlanta, did a terrific job down there, played their best series of the season to win that series. But back at home, Strider looking good. I'm going to take the Braves again. Padres got to fix this. I think they will. But right now, the Braves, you mentioned it, Tony. Braves looking good. They're 9-1 on the road. I love road teams that win, or teams that win on the road. 9-1. Let's put the Braves right up there near the top right now. Also, strong bullpen, 2.78 ERA for Atlanta thus far.
Yeah, one of the reasons why the Dogs are having trouble this year because the Braves keep winning as favorites. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing that the Dogs come in. All right, let's continue on here on our rundown with Ramon. Final game of the night tonight is on TBS. It's your nationally televised game featuring the Mets and the Dodgers. The Dodgers going to be favored here with Kershaw on the hill, minus 161 against McGill here for the Mets.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting before we get to the last game. Mentioned that to you in the chat when over on the other channel that one of the cappers mentioned the great start for favorites thus far this season. We know just to gravitate towards underdogs to a certain extent. Not right now in the major leagues. This has been the hottest start for league favorites in many years. And what was the second hottest start for favorites over the last 15 years or so? Last year. So that seems to me like a trend, right? Favorites getting off to fast starts over the last 2 seasons. The underdogs will come along, but maybe these prices are acceptable on some of these favorites. Maybe not on this one. Tony Kershaw, 2-1, 4.0 ERA. McGill's 3-0 so far. The Mets 7-4 on the road. Dodgers just 500 at home thus far. Mets did a great job last night in that game. I'm going to look to go under, though. Maybe Kershaw gets it back together a little bit. All 3 of his starts have gone over. Dodgers have gone over in 7 of 10. But the Mets, they've gone under in 6 of their last 9. McGill's done a nice job as well. I've got an under here with the Mets and the Dodgers tonight.
Well, it says under total of 8.5 Mets and Dodgers. They get a question here from Darren Lang. What are your feelings about the Diamondbacks' chances on the money line tonight? I don't know if it's a premium or not.
No, but I'll look at that one again to talk about the side. Yeah, maybe just a little bit too high here for Montgomery. We see Jameson's excellent numbers so far. He looks like a pretty good starter. Cardinals do have the better bullpen here, and if I was just going to strictly make a money play on it, uh, based on that line, let's see now. I don't know if. Currently sitting mostly at about 160 or so. I know I just talked about favorites getting it done, but I think that's going to be a little bit too high for me. I'd probably would lean toward the Diamondbacks, and even in a situation like that, Tony, I've got to think that the run line certainly is in play.
There you go, from Ron Scott here at TonySpeaks.com. That was your MLB rundown. As I start to load the NBA lines for you guys, let's look at Ramon. Everybody know what you have going over at TonySpeaks.com. Look at these numbers, guys. 5,708 units of profit for 2023. It's outstanding performance. Ramon Scott over at TonySpeaks.com. You guys can see the numbers. The results have been outstanding. What do you have going on over at the site today?
Thanks, Tony. Trying to get to back to 6,000. So let's see today if we can get that done. I've got a postseason 3-pack loaded up right now with 2 games from the National Hockey League and 1 in the NBA. I know we got 7 games tonight. I may still have more. These are my best plays right now that I was able to finalize and put in a package, a 3-pack for $30 over at Tony'sPicks.com. Check that one out. Profit guaranteed, of course, as we try to get back to that Mr. 6,000 label. 2 in the NHL, 1 in the NBA over there at Tony'sPicks.com. Want to also mention, we talked about these doubleheaders today, Tony. We know the Tigers game still going here. Pretty good ball game as we move to the bottom of the 9th inning, and 3-3 ball game. But in game 1 with the Phillies and the White Sox, I do have, pardon me, Tony, do have my $15 best bet is in the first game there of the doubleheader between the Phillies and the White Sox. So if you want to pick that one up, credit guaranteed to start your baseball card today. If you're not involved in this first game, that's my best bet's got the little icon there. My best pick today in Major League Baseball still to come, and I've got a couple more plays on the diamond tonight.
All right, check it out, Ramon Scott over at TonySpeaks.com. Click the link in the description. Get on over there. Use promo code TonyT at checkout, and you'll save 20% off. All right, let's continue on here.